We've discussed this before, but it deserves to be discussed again because I want to see if anybody's opinions have changed. Because honestly, I'm done with it. I'm done with it. And I can understand goalie interference. You've got to leave challenges in there for goalie interference. Are they consistent with the calls? The NHL would say yes. Many fans would say no. Some fans would say, yeah, they're pretty consistent with how it's called. But then we would point out from season to season, sometimes within the season, the way it gets called gets changed. The league is nothing if not controversial. And controversy has been a part of this league for as long as I've watched it. And it's when I see a fan base is being wronged, I say, you know what? Yeah, that's kind of the way it works in the National Hockey League. It has happened to numerous teams that I've been cheering for in playoffs, whether their teams I regularly cheer for or just, that one year I'm like, yeah, let's go. And then play happens and you go, oh, that's an interesting call. But the controversy will be there whether there is or there isn't replay. But it feels like now with replay being a part of it, it's more polarizing. And my problem is, and has always been, the way that we're calling offsides now for goals is not the letter of, or not the intent when it was brought into the league way back when, before color television. So it's not like when the rule was brought in, they said, okay, this is how offside's going to work, and on instant replays, if that toe's not touching the ice, boy howdy, it's crazy. And it's I think it's called, is it called to the letter of the rule? Yeah. Are we still arguing about it? Yep. Do I think Landy was offside last night? Yeah, I do. I do. And that, you know what? That's beside the point. The point that I'm trying to make is kill it. Just get rid of it. The most important thing that they miss, in my eyes, we can go back around. And we can talk about penalties. And we can look at going back, I would say, into the regular season. And I saw this often, but it wasn't as blown up during the regular season because games aren't viewed as being as important during the regular season. But, and I've complained about calls that get made in October, and I've had people actually say, hey, you're whining about a call in October, Shannon. Wake us up if this happens in April. But you shouldn't be complaining about these calls in October. And that just gives me a migraine because it's like, but it's the same league, and this is how they're calling it. And so, I think you should be able to review penalties on some level. Not all. Not all. I think that in the instance of a major penalty, if a player's going to get booted out of the game, I think that should be reviewable. I also think in the event of a high stick that clips a guy, if the offending player that's going to the box, if I'm like, look, he just clipped himself with his own stick, I think a referee should be able to go look at a replay. It should be quick. Really, which stick hits a guy in the face should be pretty darn easy to tell with all the cameras we've got. And a referee should be like, yeah, and get him out of the box. Yeah, we got that one wrong. And that's it. But I would like to see the offside challenge out. Because to me, it's funny because we can look back at, old games and old fantastic game-winning goals. I wonder how many of them were offside. I do. I've got to the point now where I think, man, I wonder in all of these years of yearbooks that I have, how many series might have ended up completely different based on an offside call, based on something via a replay. How would history have been changed? And, again, the Landeskog situation is an interesting one because it shows that Colorado has 6 guys on the ice. Now, normally, referees, linesmen will allow there to be some overlap between the guy coming in and the guy going off. There's kind of a rule that if I'm skating off the ice, my replacement's on the ice, the puck comes near me and I don't play it because I'm not a part of the play, we're not going to get a penalty. If I move to play the puck, if I interfere with another player on the ice, too many men in the ice is going to get called. So, Landy being on the ice, did he take a while to get off? Yeah, absolutely. I still say what I said last night, which is you should always have your head on a swivel. Don't assume that the puck's going in one direction. Because with line changes too, I always find myself getting mad when I see a guy just dump the puck and assume, okay, so we've got it, and go to the bench, and then there's a turnover, and because he's going to the bench, you're now short a player. Sometimes those end up in the back of your net. But again, that's part of the play. And what happened last night is it's unfortunate. But my argument for that goal counting is let's just take that replay, take that offside crap, and just forget it. Just unless it's egregious, and even then, it's so rare. It's so rare that there's goals that people will mention in the comment section below the instances where it happened before they brought in the offside review, and it's very, very rare. It's far more rare than we're having arguments now about offsides while they have the replay in place. I would like to see it gone, personally. I am to the point now where I hear, this team's challenging for offsides. It's like, oh no. Oh crap. Because I know, whatever the call's going to be, somebody's going to be mad about it. So, let's just go back. Let's say somebody says, all right, so Landeskog, the very tip of his skate is touching the line. I could turn around and say, well, was his blade on the... Like, here's the thing, right? The blade, is it on the ace, not on the ace? And again, the NHL has angles that they don't always show us. So they likely had a definitive angle that showed it. And then you get into, well, this angle makes it look like this happened. But from this angle, it looks like that happened. Because from different angles, visually, it changes our perspective. And we may get, and we've had that with pucks across the line, where from one angle it looks like, oh yeah, that's clearly across the line, and then you look at the overhead and you go, oh no, that didn't cross the line. So there's that issue as well. I don't want to see hockey get bogged down. And again, for people who say, well, we have to have the replays, we want to get the calls right. We're still arguing about the calls. So now the game's slower. A goal got taken back that rightfully should have counted, because San Jose was playing like crap at that point. San Jose was playing so sloppy that goal going in, I will say this, for people who say, well, that game would have gone to offside. I don't think so. I really think that if that goal had counted, and after that goal was called back, I thought San Jose woke up. I think if that game is tied 2-2 at that point, I still think San Jose scores that third goal. I still think San Jose ends up winning the game. And I'm well aware that Colorado gets that goal from Jost and all that stuff and whatnot. But I still think San Jose was going to win that game. I think they just needed a wake-up call a couple of times in the game to get back into it. But that would have changed the whole momentum. And it did kind of change the momentum a bit in the favor of San Jose when it was called off. And it did look like the Avs were reeling. But I would take it out. I would take it out and say, you know what, let's get the penalties right. Let's make sure we've got that right when it comes to a major and when it comes to a high stick and a player saying, I didn't hit him, he hit himself, which would not happen very often. You would very rarely see a guy who sticks a guy and it's clear and it's obvious say, oh, well, I didn't do it. Because then you can bring something else in that if I'm the offending player and I'm trying to go to the box and argue that I didn't do it, I don't know, maybe the team loses its timeout. So you'd have that as an option. But the offside, I really think the offside challenge needs to go. And I say that as somebody who, I think they got it right last night. I do. But I can understand why people are upset and say they didn't. And I really think that it's ridiculous and this wasn't the idea of the rule when they brought it in. So I'd be interested to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.